Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good day. We're so excited that you're joining us here today for our LRVS event. I have the very pleasure of introducing our keynotes today, and our keynote is none other than Ryan Chan, the CEO and founder of UpKeep. So I had to arm wrestle Josh to actually get this keynote, and of course, I won. So definitely good for me there, winning that one. But I'm going to I want you all to take a very good note of the codes that we'll be sharing with you today, codes to play to win. And, just saying that, Ryan's code is at the bottom of the screen if you want to take a note of that, and definitely make sure you enter that when you play to win. And without further ado, I am going to let you all hear from Ryan Chan. Excited about this one. He's going to be talking about what does the next generation of maintenance look like. And he gives us a hint. It's not just pen and paper, which is very interesting. Let's see how this one goes.
Hey everyone, welcome to LRVS 2021, the Lubrication and Reliability Virtual Summit. I'm super excited to be keynoting this entire conference for all of us today. And today, what I want to talk about is how we, all of us here, are going to shape this next generation of maintenance. My goal for today and today's session is to inspire all of us to be part of transforming this next generation of maintenance. But before I do that, before I get too far ahead of myself, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and why I'm here today. My name is Ryan, and I'm the CEO and founder of UpKeep. A little bit about my history and my background. I went to Cal Berkeley as a chemical engineer, and I actually worked in a manufacturing plant. My first job was as a process engineer at a company called Tricep, Membrane Manufacturing. And we actually manufactured a thin film composite used for brackish water, desalination, and a little bit of wastewater. I was so excited as a young grad coming in and working on some of this really awesome manufacturing equipment. And what I was also really excited about was how technology would influence our manufacturing for tomorrow. But when I actually stepped foot in this manufacturing plant, all of my excitement around innovation and technology was actually taken pretty far aback. When I stepped foot in this plant, what I saw was a ton of paper, a ton of manual process, a ton of sticky notes and phone calls that would basically go from technician to facility manager and tons of double and triple entry process. But remember, I came from Cal Berkeley, which is actually in the heart of innovation and technology up in the Bay Area. I was so excited about technology and how that would shape the manufacturing industry. But when I worked in this manufacturing plant, I was thinking to myself, where the hell is all of the innovation that I was expecting? Wasn't AI and machine learning supposed to take over all of the factory floors? I remember seeing all of these headlines. I would say 30 million US workers are going to lose their job because of AI and job loss due to AI. How bad is it going to be? I remember seeing countless headlines that would just continue to talk about robots and automation and how it's going to basically replace the modern worker. I was reading all of these headlines, but working in a manufacturing plant, I was seeing something completely different. I was reading all these big headlines saying that robotics are going to take over the factory floor, but I was seeing just tons of paper and pencil and very rudimentary processes. And when I try to make a change working within this manufacturing plant, I was told time and time again that things within our company and within our industry were the way that they were. And if we wanted to make any change, it would take decades for that to happen. And that was ultimately why I started UpKeep. I actually believe that technology should make the days, lives, and jobs easier for technicians. And over the past 5 years, with a little bit of hard work and a ton of luck along the way, I actually got a lot of others to believe in this huge shift in thinking. And we've actually done a bunch over the last 5 years to help change and shift this mindset within the entire industry. It hasn't taken decades. It's only taken 5 years and a whole lot of luck along the way. And what I also say is that this shift in mindset and believing that we can do this and that it didn't take 10 years and it wouldn't take decades, this shift in mindset is ultimately what got UpKeep to where we are today. And over the last 5 years, we have had the opportunity to transform over 3,000 businesses off of this world of paper and pen and into this endless possibilities of the digital world. And personally, I feel extremely privileged to play a small part in transforming this industry. But what I'll also say here is that there's a long road ahead of us. And I believe that we actually have the opportunity to shift our mindset once again, to dream bigger, to believe in something even bigger. As mentioned, my goal for today is to inspire all of us to be part of shaping the future of maintenance and reliability. But before we get into that, before we get into the future, and before we talk about moving forward, I actually think it's really important for us to pause, stop, and look at where we are today. And to sum it up, I would say that today, within the maintenance, reliability, operations departments, we are divided. Our organizations right now are often split up into 3 different teams: maintenance, operations, reliability, where we're working on the same assets, the same equipment in parallel, but we're not working together. Maintenance cares about, the repairs that are happening today. Operations cares about the uptime of the equipment and what's happening right this second. And reliability cares about what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, in 3 months. We're all working on the same exact equipment in parallel, but our teams are not working together. And ultimately what happens is it really separates everything that we're doing for our assets, for our equipment, into silos. And on top of that, when you have these silos, data is siloed. What's so amazing today is that we now have access to more data than ever. We have IoT data, ERP data, we have MES systems, APM systems, we have CMMS and EAM. We have more technical data now than ever before. But what's happening and what we see across the entire industry is that data is not shared across platforms or teams. It's fragmented across different systems. And what happens is it creates misaligned perspectives across the entire business. Imagine trying to make decisions with only half of the data. What's that going to yield? On top of that, these data silos create information gaps, which ultimately turn into rework. We found a really powerful statistic that said 20% of work that's done out in the field is rework. This is work that's redone because the original job was not done correctly. And what I want to say is that's not the technician's fault. It's because we don't have the right access to information to get it right the first time. This data silo is not just causing misalignment in perspectives, but is actually creating more work for us. And on top of that, what we're also seeing across these 3 different teams is that each team has different measures of success. We're all working on the same goal, the same asset, but we're working with misaligned goals. At the end of the day, we all want to improve the bottom line as much as possible. But right now, we are working independently to achieve this. Maintenance cares about repairs, work orders, and work completed. Operations is looking at production, downtime, and runtime. And reliability cares about longevity, failures, and availability. And everyone has different measures of success. But at the end of the day, we have one goal, and it should be together as a team. And what I'll say here, I believe that these data silos, these teams, with different silos, it's just simply not working. And through dividing our work into 3 separate teams, I believe we're stuck in the cycle of feeling and being undersupported, undervalued, and misunderstood. Let me explain what I mean by that. Right now, technicians are undersupported by technology. They actually lack the systems that makes the days, lives, and jobs easier for them. On top of that, budgets are misinformed. Right now, budgets most commonly are determined as a percentage of your total replacement asset value. But what I'll also say is that there's very little rhyme or reason as to why. Why is 2% good and 5% is bad? How do we know if we have the right financial resources allocated to maintenance if we're using this incomplete formula to decide? Right now, what's happening, maintenance teams are measured by what they do, not why they do it. What we're seeing across the entire industry is that what's measured and what matters, there's a big disconnect. Right now, organizations are tracking what technicians are doing rather than the outcome of their hard work. There's this big disconnect. And to put this into perspective, we asked our entire customer base of 3,000 businesses, what's the most important thing and what's the most important thing your business cares about? And what's the most important metric that your maintenance team is measured by? And the results that we got were astounding. The most common thing that we heard businesses care about is reducing downtime. But what they're tracking, what they're measuring, the most common KPI is completed planned preventative maintenance. There's a big disconnect between what's measured and what actually matters to a business. So what's going to happen if this continues? If we remain divided across these 3 separate teams, I think our leadership, our company leadership, is going to continue to view maintenance as this cost center, which is going to restart this entire cycle that led us to where we are today, with 3 different silos and a big disconnect between what's measured and what actually matters. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to also just state the obvious. This probably doesn't sound super inspirational just yet. My ask is stay with me, because I think that there is a future for us that is a whole lot brighter. I think we have the opportunity to break this cycle. And I think the most powerful thing that we can all do here today is to shift our mindset, believe that we can actually be the drivers of this change. My goal, my belief, is that we can actually shift our understanding from maintenance, operations, reliability as 3 different teams with 3 different goals into one team working on your asset operations together to achieve a common goal. My vision is that maintenance, reliability, and operations cares about the entire asset life cycle. They care about a comprehensive health metrics across the entire equipment and asset base. And success is not just measured by, work completed or downtime or availability, but really tied to the business outcomes. I want to make sure that what's measured is what matters and there's no disconnect. I believe as one team, now we can have isolated data feed into one central command center. And having this integrated view enables you to focus on the optimization of your assets across the entire life cycle of it. And my goal for all of us is to really shift the conversation from how many hours did you work today? How many work orders did you complete today? How many PMs did you, check off? To what's the value that you and we have all added to the business today? I think the shift in our mindset is the first step in this positive chain of events that are going to kickstart this next generation of maintenance. And I believe this next generation of maintenance is maintenance being viewed as a profit center. You might all be thinking, I like how this sounds, but it'll probably never happen here. It'll probably take decades for anything to happen here. What I also want to say is that impossible things have happened before, but it always starts with a group of people believing. I've spoken to a lot of people around the industry, and what I'll also say is that they're with us. They believe in this change. Some folks that you might know very, very well, Bob Latino, who's a good friend of mine, he told us, while continuous improvement efforts are great for gradual progress, disruption is needed to make quantum leaps. And in order to do this, ideas need to be bold to get people's attention. Ryan and the UpKeep team are providing this vision of what it could be. But in the end, it's up to us out in the field to make a difference. You can't do what you can't imagine, so why not imagine big? On top of that, Sonia, who is the organizer of the entire LRVS conference, she mentioned it's a beautiful thing to have operations, maintenance, reliability all coming together to work together as one team, because working in silos doesn't benefit anyone. Rob Kalvarewski, another good friend of mine, thought leader in this entire space, he said this, I believe that a shift to a people-centric, continuous learning and collaborative mindset will finally yield the engagement, happiness, and business results that we've always deserved. And lastly, Ramesh Gulati, the Sherpa of maintenance and reliability, he told us this divide between operations and maintenance has been created due to our reward system, and eliminating silos and making an asset-centric system will enable and allow us to accomplish so much more. He said, we should all be working together and taking care of assets as they're an enabler to produce a product or provide the best service. As mentioned, we've talked to so many people out in the industry, and they're all with us. They believe in this change, but again, it all starts with all of us here. What I'll also say is that this is not only possible, but it's also more important than ever before. What's happening right now, us believing in our ability to make change within the industry, is so incredibly important right now. Why is that? Right now, what's going on, I'm sure all of us have felt this. There's a labor shortage and the turnover is really high within our industry. The demand for maintenance workers is actually projected to grow by up to 13% over the next 10 years due to the continuing adoption of technology. And as many as 2.1 million manufacturing jobs in the US will be unfilled through 2030. And right now, employers are saying it's more difficult than ever to find talent. On top of that, we're seeing attrition rates within our industry as high as 25% within physical work environments. And right now, hiring rates are struggling to reach replacement levels. 25% attrition rate every single year. Imagine turning over your entire employee base every 4 years. Change is needed in our industry, and we have the opportunity to be part of this change. The next generation of maintenance is not just possible, it's not just necessary, but I believe it all starts here today with everyone at this LRVS 2021 Summit. And I hope that you take the knowledge you learn over the next couple days here at the Lubrication Reliability Virtual Summit 2021 to help shift the mindset within your own organization. Before I leave, I'm gonna leave us all here with 3 questions to ask yourself as you begin to incorporate this new way of thinking into your day-to-day. The first question, 1, could you be making better business decisions if all departments and teams within your company had one shared repository of data? And if so, why is data siloed across your entire organization in the first place? The second question, does maintenance, reliability, and operations all have 3 separate goals working on the same problem? And could your team work more effectively with a shared set of goals that help optimize your asset performance. And the third question I want to leave us all here with is, should we be continuing to view maintenance as a cost center? Or should we be viewing maintenance as a strategic driver within the business to reduce downtime, increase production, and improve the bottom line? I think I have a pretty good answer for that last one. And I believe the latter is true. And for me personally, I'm extremely excited for the days that I get to read these headlines where, maintenance is among the top 5 fastest growing job markets, and how asset operations is a secret weapon for top producing manufacturing companies. With all of that, I want to just thank everyone for spending this time with me. My name is Ryan. I'm the CEO and founder of UpKeep. I hope everyone here enjoys their entire time here at the Lubrication Reliability Virtual Summit 2021. The last thing that I'll say is that I'm going to be out in the virtual booth where you can actually ask me any questions, and I'll be there over the next, couple, 10 to 20 minutes. I'm really excited to chat with you, hear your feedback, and hopefully, my goal again today was to inspire us to all be part of this change. Thanks everyone.
Hi, so we're back, and Ryan has definitely inspired me. First of all, he's inspired me because he's up at 6:30 in the morning and by his computer. Well done, Ryan. I'm gonna bring you on the stage now, and we have Ryan with us, joining us. So excited that you get to join us this morning.
Thanks, Anya. How's it going?
It's going good. You definitely made our gears turn this morning and started thinking a lot about maintenance, about what the next generation looks like. And I think one of the things that stuck with me is that you mentioned getting measured versus what matters. And that is a huge point. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that first?
Yeah, it really came from a survey that we did probably about actually at the beginning of this year. And we asked our customers, the people in the industry, what is the top thing that you care about? It was downtime. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. And then we also started asking the same people, what do you measure to measure the performance and success of your team? And the number one response was planned preventative maintenance. And I was just mind boggled because they don't match up. If you care about downtime, why aren't you tracking downtime at your plant? And this is not like it's because downtime was not an option. It was the most bizarre thing in the world to me. And I really started asking myself, well, hey, instead of measuring things that, could be vanity metrics, why not just measure the thing that you actually care about to track success of your team? I think that was one of the things that really inspired me here, to start this broader conversation around the unification of the 3 different teams. It was what are we measuring? What do we actually care about? At the end of the day, I think everyone within the business, these 3 teams, maintenance, operations, reliability, cares about, reducing downtime, production levels. Those are the things that we should be tracking.
Yeah, it should be. And if we, it sounds so simple and we're like, why did we not think about this before? But definitely it's something to think about, something to start integrating into our business. And I love, you talked about the KPIs as well. You talked about misalignment. And the only thing that went through my mind is that we care so much about the misalignment of our equipment, and we're not thinking about the misalignment of our people.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts.
Yeah.
So definitely some great takeaways that we have so far. I learned a lot, definitely within this is our keynote, our kickoff for this morning. So we have some stuff from the audience coming in. We have Miko saying, thank you so much, Ryan. You have a point. disalign goals, disrupts the organization. It definitely does.
Yeah.
And I have another question from Dr. Amina. She says, what will be the role of tribological investigation in all of these issues? Well, you're trying to get Ryan's brain to definitely work a bit overtime this morning. So remember.
What does tribological investigation mean?
So I guess we're just talking about oil. So how do we get lubrication involved in maintenance and reliability? And I think it goes back to exactly what you said, Ryan. It's the alignments of people, getting operations to match up with maintenance, getting to match up with reliability, and all of that kind of forms into lubrication. Lubrication plays a huge part in all of that. Getting them aligned, that is where it starts.
Yeah. And I've talked to, I don't know if Rob Calvaruski is here today, but we talk a lot about the people side of the business. We have this big belief within UpKeep is that, technology is going to play a small role in this transformation, but what will drive the biggest changes in this entire industry are going to be the people. And I think you're right, Sonia. It starts with this alignment of goals, alignment of shared vision. That's probably where a lot of things start for most businesses. We are a tech company, so it's kind of funny that I'm saying this, but like before you purchase tech, before you purchase, software and the cool shiny new object, it's most important to like align your team and do the people stuff first before you go out and buy, technology.
I hear you loud and clear with that one. And we have Andy Gailey, great keynotes. Yes, it was definitely a great keynote. I loved it. We really inspired us this morning, Ryan. Thank you for taking the time to put all of this information together. Another comment that we have here from Ravi. Ryan, you are a visionary. It's refreshing to see someone championing the cause. Yes, he definitely champions the cause that would eventually bring about the end results that we all want. And that's where it's going. That's where we want it to go. Thanks.
But what I'll also say to this point, Ravi, is that, I really did mean it, that it doesn't, yes, I'm going to be the loudest person in the room, but at the end of the day, it takes all of us, everyone who's here today at the LRVS Summit, everyone who's also not here working in the industry to really drive this change.
We have to work together. I think that's one of the main things. Unless we work together, then we're in silos and, nobody brings a bucket of ice cream to a party and eats it all for themselves, they'll get sick.
Well, I don't know. I could probably eat a bucket of ice cream by myself.
Yes, we'll have to investigate that one. Definitely.
Hope you're good for me, though.
Yeah, but definitely we'll see if we can share. So I want to thank you so much this morning, Ryan, for your time, for waking up so early for us. We really appreciate that. You have no idea. I don't think somebody could get me in front of the computer at 6:30 in the morning. But, thank you for being such a visionary and such an inspiring person with us. Ryan will be at the UpKeep booth for the next 20 minutes or so. Be sure to go into the sponsor booth, check him out. You can ask him some more questions there. Look out, we have some other presentations throughout the day, all talking about some very, very great topics. And stay tuned. There's so much more to come. We'll see you all. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.